Hey there, I'm Lee Ullman here with some big news from the National Young Farmers Coalition. We're partnering with Heritage Radio Network on a special season of The Farm Report. It's all about what's happening with the Farm Bill and how it impacts farmers and eaters.
I am growing diversified vegetables on land that's been in our family for 150 years.
And so with the pandemic, gentrification, property values going up, we had to sell the land and we lost it.
Join us as we uncover the untold stories behind this massive piece of legislation that shapes how we grow our food, what we eat, and so much more.
The problems we have had, those are things that come from earlier Farm Bill and USDA policy, right? Like Earl Butts, get big or get out.
You know, it's my responsibility to know not only what I'm eating, but then like how that all came to be. And realize like, wow, like this piece of legislation, all this money, like it's technically something that I support as a taxpayer.
While Congress debates the next Farm Bill, this is not just an invitation to listen. It's a call to action. Be part of the conversation. Subscribe to the Farm Report on Heritage Radio Network, wherever you listen to podcasts.
This episode is brought to you by MoFad, the Museum of Food and Drink, inspiring public curiosity about food. Learn more at mofad.org.
You're listening to Heritage Radio Network. We're a member-supported podcast network broadcasting over 35 weekly shows live from Bushwick, Brooklyn. This year, we're celebrating 10 years of food radio. For the past decade, we've been taking you behind the scenes of farms, restaurants, breweries, school cafeterias, and more. It's been 10 years, and we're just getting started. Find us at heritageradionetwork.org.
Hello and welcome to Snacky Tunes. I am one half your host, Darren Bresnitz. Today we sit down with the Culinary Concierge, Maisie Wilhelm, to talk about her new endeavor, Palantine. It is your friend on the inside when it comes to all things food. We talk about her insider knowledge about traveling the world in search of the best bites, and what it was like to work for one of the masters, Chef Danielle Boulud. It was a treat, an absolute pleasure to hear what she is working on, and a real dream job for anyone who loves food. We also dig deep into the archives, one of our favorite interviews with some of our favorite jokes, and a live session from She Keeps Bees. So sit back, relax, and enjoy Snacky Tunes here on heritageradionetwork.org.
We talk about food, we talk about music with musical dudes. Finger on the pulse, Snacky Tunes. I'm gonna wear red. I'm gonna wear red. I'm gonna wear red till I pass on.
Hello and welcome to Snacky Tunes. I'm one half your host, Darren Bresnitz. We are here with Maisie Wilhelm. Nailed it. First try. Founder, COO, CFO, CEO, C-level of Palatine International Culinary Concierge and Consulting.
You got it.
I got it, right?
Yeah.
Now, for a woman who's of international notoriety, you started as a Midwest girl.
I did. I still am a Midwest girl.
Midwest girl,
At
heart forever. Cheese curds?
No, that's Wisconsin.
You're from Michigan.
Yeah, I'm more pasties.
Pasties.
Meat pies.
Oh, yeah. It's funny.
And cherries, really.
It's funny because Midwest people are really specific about their specific regional dish, as you just showed me.
Yes.
But you grew up in the Midwest.
Yes.
Mom cooked, dad cooked. Food was a big thing or not a big thing at all?
Not a big thing. My parents separated when I was 8, and Mom was a single mom and went back to school. So it was like, put the chicken in the oven when you get home from school at 3:50. There were Pop-Tarts. There were Kraft singles in the house.
Sure.
Wonder Bread. So I didn't really get into food until I was a little bit older, but I did have an uncle who was and is a restaurateur in Southern California.
Interesting.
And so when we would visit on the holidays, we would have filet mignon and fancy things like that. So I was exposed to that at a young age.
But the concept of working in food was
far from my purview.
But you went abroad pretty early in life, though.
Yes.
You went to Tuscany.
I did.
Were you at a villa under the Tuscan sun?
No, although I had seen Stealing Beauty and did fantasize that would be my experience.
What was that, Liv Tyler, right?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Those are some experiences in that movie.
Yes, yeah, there are. And it was a little bit like that to a certain extent,
yeah,
but not quite as exciting.
But what drew you to Italy? What made you want to go to abroad, especially from growing up in the Midwest?
Yeah, well, I actually attribute a lot of it to a fantastic middle school Latin teacher I had. Mrs. Pedley, who's still around.
Shout out.
Shout out to Magistra Pedley. My mother, who is a linguistics major, made my brother and me each take 2 years of Latin in middle school.
Ooh.
And after
for
that,
SAT purposes?
No, I think she just knew that for any language we would want to study after, it would really help.
Yeah.
And it did. My brother and I both went on to study French and Italian, and my brother also speaks Russian, so we're a big language family. And I loved ancient Roman archaeology. I loved ancient Roman culture. I thought I wanted to be a classical archaeologist. So I was big into the whole peninsula. And so I started to take Italian when I was 16 in high school.
It's amazing what things you take in high school that follow you through life.
Well, yeah. And I went to a public high school that allowed us to really build our own education.
Yeah.
So there wasn't Italian offered at my high school, but I was a 10-minute walk from the University of Michigan campus, and I marched up there and I asked the professor if I could audit the class and just sit in and get it for high school credit.
And so with basic college understanding of Italian,
yes,
you traipsed off to Italy. And what was that like going there? What were your experiences? Was it a mind-expanding, blowing experience?
Yes, I won a scholarship, and I spent a month studying in Siena, living with a family, and going to language classes at a school there that attracted international students of Italian. So there was no English spoken in the classroom, which was essential. It was like you asked what a word meant, and they described it in Italian. So it was a wonderful, eye-opening experience. I really recommend people to spend time abroad whenever they can. It's incredible for personal growth, and it shows you a new side of a culture, a world, a set of foods, all of that, which was incredible to see.
What was eating like?
Eating, I was a student, so eating was a lot of pizza al taglio, which was fantastic. I still have my favorite place in Siena where I'd like to go. And then, mostly it was like cheap wine and riding Vespas through the countryside.
Sounds good today.
Sounds good, yeah. And then I hooked up with a family in Puglia, in the heel of the boot, where hardly anybody still goes there to this day, but back then nobody had even heard of it. it felt, and I was an au pair for this family, and I traveled down, overnight by bus to the very tip of the heel of the boot, very remote area where I lived with a family and spoke English to their 12-year-old, and it was like paradise.
Were you responsible for the cooking?
No, not at all. It was like the grandparents were there, and they were retired. They had an unmarried aunt who milked the cows every morning and brought the fresh milk in to have our cafe latte. They had orange trees they would take the oranges from and juice them for their morning spremuta. They raised almost all of their own fruits and vegetables. They had their own table wine, their own table olive oil, all from their products. The only thing they really needed to buy or trade services for were fish and meat. So it was a paradise. I've spent a lot of time with that family. It's actually, if you've read Gabrielle Hamilton's Blood, Butter, Bones memoir, the experience I had with a family in Puglia is very similar to the experience she had with her in-laws in Italy.
Got it.
So,
is this when food started creeping in?
Yes.
So when did you start to, because this is the early 2000s, and food, obviously, especially food media or brands or concierge came way later.
Yes, yeah.
But when did you start thinking that maybe you wanted to write about food, work in food, just somehow be involved with food?
Not until so I basically got bitten by the European bug.
Sure.
And wanted to pursue studies that would keep me on the continent. So I ended up majoring in Italian in college, and I did a junior year abroad in Bologna, Italy, and then stayed the summer after and lived in Rome. And it was in Bologna where I really started to have that sort of awakening of food.
Now, what was it about it?
Partly it was convenience, because the Italian university system doesn't require you to attend classes.
Beautiful.
They give you the syllabus at the beginning of the year. They say, come back in 3 months and we'll give you one oral exam and base your entire grade on that.
Wow.
So a lot of kids...
But you could go to the classes.
You could, yeah.
Did you go to the classes?
I mostly did, and that meant that I didn't have to study like 2 or 3 of the books on the syllabus, because that's what they covered in lecture.
Sure.
But that meant there was a lot of free time to roam around the city, explore the markets, cook with our Italian roommates, learn their family recipes. My roommate came from Abruzzo, and her family owned a pasta making store.
Sure, as one does.
And so she would bring back, every time she'd go home, she'd bring back a suitcase full of food, which is also typical among Italians. They have 2 suitcases. One is all of their food and toiletries, and then the other is like pasta fatta a casa, jars of the canned sugo, like everything. My Italian homestay family sent me home with a liter of olive oil, with torta, just bags of fresh pasta, all of that. So,
I mean, just real travel.
Yes.
And then from Italy, you went to Paris.
Yes. So,
which is the other delicious capital. I feel like between France and Italy, it doesn't get much better in Europe for eating. I mean, Spain.
I've been lucky.
They're all good.
They're all good.
They're all good. They're all good. But those two.
These are tent poles.
These are tent poles. But to go from Italy then to Paris is incredible. And what drew you there? What were you doing? Were you furthering your career in food?
So, no, I was still kind of in an exploratory period. I graduated college. I had thought I wanted to be a diplomat, and so I actually interned.
How does one go about thinking they want to be a diplomat?
Well, I had learned about the Foreign Service, and it sounded romantic to me, the idea that you could live all over the world and learn different languages and have that be sponsored, essentially, by your career. And so I interned with the State Department when I was in college. That was why I was in Rome. And I fell in love with Rome, but I did not enjoy working for the government. And when I graduated, I thought, I had visited friends in Paris while I was living there. And so I said, I want to learn French the way I know Italian. And I want to feel comfortable in Paris the way I felt extremely comfortable and familiar in Italy. And so with a semi-useless degree in Italian studies and no intention of using it.
I mean, not completely useless.
Well, it turned out not to be,
Yes, in the long run. You never know.
But, so I just packed up and I moved to Paris.
As one does. Where'd you live?
Why not? I lived in the 16th arrondissement, which is a super snoozy hoity-toity neighborhood where I saw lots of old women, bad plastic surgery, and miniature dogs.
So sort of like the Upper
East. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I rented a cheap room.
I think we just lost our 2 listeners on the Upper East Side. Sorry.
No offense.
No offense.
I had a friend in college, an acquaintance whose father was French and had this apartment and rented me a room, and I lived with her 2 brothers. And that man used to come home with incredible game he had caught for his children, basically. He would pheasant hunt on his property in Normandy.
As one does.
And then he would come home with like dead birds stuffed into plastic bags in the fridge that, the fridge was packed once, and I opened the door and then this bird springs out, the feathers fly in my face. I screamed. But I had never seen a dead bird with feathers in the refrigerator before.
Now, the great thing about all these different little villages in Paris is that it sort of has everything. It has your butcher, it has your cafe, it has your cheese, fromagerie.
Yeah.
And so what are you learning about food? What are you putting sort of into your arsenal at that time?
When I first started in Paris, nothing, because I was panicked to learn French. I didn't speak a word when
they're snooty there. They're real. Well, the thing is that probably the difference between Italy and France, is, especially Paris, is that in Italy, maybe they'll speak to you in Italian. In Paris, especially, once they start hearing that, they go, English.
Yes. Well, and I learned a lot about the etiquette of the French people and Parisians, which are kind of a different breed.
Sure.
One thing that really surprised me is that they are extremely polite. And if you walk into a store, a taxi cab, a room, you must greet the people there. And if you don't, you're considered very rude, and they will give you attitude back. And so my theory is that Americans have such a negative view of French being snooty,
hoity-toity,
because they have offended the French without even realizing it. How many times do you go into CVS and you say, bonjour, madame? 0. We just don't do that here.
No.
But so I moved to Paris thinking I would write a novel in a smoky cafe.
Sure.
Get any old job to support myself in the meantime. Be poor, because
that's
if you got to be poor, why not eat baguettes with incredible butter and do it in gorgeous Paris?
I mean, there's still €1 today.
Right.
So
$1.15.
$1.15.
Yes.
It's gone up
barely.
a little.
Yeah. But the French government does regulate the price.
They do regulate
of
it.
Bread.
They do.
And I got really lucky, because the any old job quote that I ended up getting was at the International Herald Tribune.
Amazing.
Which still had headquarters in Paris at the time, and I was a news assistant hired with a visa and everything. One of the last to get that.
The last gasp of real journalism.
I think there was one after me, and then they just hire.
And so you just learned the city, you took it in, you learned the people, you learned the food.
Bit by bit, I learned French. I had a job as a news assistant there that was a liaison between the English-speaking editorial staff and the French-speaking production staff.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to take a quick break. We're going to talk about your move to New York, and we're going to talk about how you've put all these pieces of your life together to create what is an incredible business at Palatine. Can I say first? I'll say first type of creative concierge.
I think so.
Culinary consulting, creative services. We have a song from the archives here on Snacky Tunes on heritageradionetwork.org. Hello and welcome back to Snacky Tunes. We are here with Maisie Wilhelm, CEO, CFO, COO.
Founder.
Can we
whatever.
say the E and E for eating?
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, that's a free one. A Palatine, Culinary Concierge, connecting creative services.
Yes.
So, you've done Italy,
Yeah.
you've done France. Paris.
Mm-hmm.
What did the siren sounds of sweet New York City sound to you? Why did that call to you? What made you want to come back stateside when you had done what is one of the hardest things to do, which is set yourself up in Europe?
Well, partly it was necessity. The visa that I had in France did expire.
Jerks.
I may have overstayed a little bit.
It's okay. No one listens to the show, so it's fine.
But my papers ran out, and I'd been there for 3 years, which was 2 years longer than I imagined I would stay.
Wow.
And by then I learned a decent amount of French, and I was in journalism, working at a newspaper. I had published a handful of clips and thought, why don't I try this? So I moved to New York because I'd always wanted to live in New York City, always dreamt about it. My big brother was there. He was like, come, it's so much fun.
You got to live in New
So
York
off
once
I
in your
went.
life.
Exactly.
I mean, that's not true. Actually, that's what I used to think before I lived in New York. And then I said, you only should live in New York if you really want to live in New York because you got to want it.
Certain types of people can excel there, and it's just not for everybody.
It's not, and that's fine.
It's a hustle.
It's a hustle, and it was living there that taught me that my original thinking was naive.
Flawed.
Flawed.
Mm-hmm.
That's life.
Yeah,
You just learn your previous thinking is flawed. So you get to New York.
Yes.
And you were still doing some editing stuff.
Yeah,
but
I was in journalism for a bit.
But what I want to talk about is how I met you was when you were working for Danielle.
Yes,
He does
Danielle
he need a last name?
Let's give him one.
Fine, Danielle Ballou.
D Biggity.
D Biggity, which is what everyone calls him.
He knows it.
How did that happen? And also, how did the job of a brand manager happen for him?
So I was tired of journalism / the economy. Well, the industry had tanked.
2009, 2010.
This is 2009. Yeah.
It was bad.
It was a terrible year.
It was a terrible year to work in media.
And I was kind of I was lost, trying to figure out what I wanted to do next. And I thought, okay, I'm going to go back to the drawing board. I could be a personal assistant to somebody. I actually had done this essentially in Paris. My last job at the IHT was to assist Suzy Menkes, who was a world-renowned top fashion editor.
We're talking like Devil Wears Prada?
Exactly, exactly that kind of job. I thought, okay, through Suzy, I met everybody who was anybody in that field, and I learned a lot quickly about that industry. So I thought, okay, I could do that again for somebody who's a mover or a shaker in their field, or something in food, maybe. I mean, this was mid to end 2009, and suddenly the idea of working in food was around.
Palpable.
Without being a chef or working front of house.
Yeah.
I thought I was saying, like, I'll look for something behind the scenes in the food world, like, I don't know, a back office somewhere.
Yeah.
So there I am, Googling or searching on Craigslist for personal assistant jobs, and up pops personal assistant to Chef Danielle Ballou.
Which, today, good luck.
No way, they don't do that anymore.
But back then,
the
concept of being a personal assistant to a chef.
Where do you post for that job? How do you find somebody?
Yeah.
So I got lucky. I mean, the skills...
What was the interview like? Did you interview with him?
Not immediately. That was the final interview. It was like I went through
he
many
was the final
stages.
boss?
Yes.
The final boss in the
Basically,
video.
everybody... I met with... first, I sent off my resume, and 4 hours later, I had a call from HR, and I thought that was a great sign.
Yeah.
And I heard that I was one of the first people to send in an application, and the next day they had 100 of those. But my skill set was actually perfectly suited to the job because I had just come from this experience in a high-paced, high-stress, intense experience of a newspaper room where there is a nightly deadline, and you're working with the French production staff and the English editorial staff, and I was the liaison to make sure everything came out okay. And then in the kitchen, it's the same way, right? It's a nightly dinner service.
Sure.
And everything's amped up, and you've got VIPs in the dining room, and so it just was a good fit.
And so what you got it entail?
So I like to fluff it up and say it was managing Danielle's strategic use of time.
Sure.
But I was scheduling him and handling his correspondence and helping him stay on top of all of the things he had to do. And bit by bit, I got really familiar with that. He is a phenomenal business person and chef and manager and leader, and extremely energetic, and never likes to say no or not do things he wants to do. So it was very difficult to juggle everything, keep him on time, get everything done, and deal with, the whims of a strong personality.
Well, not to mention food's rise in popularity and him becoming a celebrity outside of the food world during the time you worked for him.
Yes, yeah. So I ended up doing 3.5 years as his personal assistant. And the last year and a half, 2 years of that was really great because I grew a lot. I had, gotten down pat the duties of the assistant and was able to take on a lot more for him and help him do more of the special projects that he wanted to do outside of the restaurants. And he's very focused on spending a lot of time in the restaurants, but still a guy like that gets hit up all the time for interesting activities or extracurriculars. I kind of
give us one story. Give us one crazy story.
Oh my gosh!
And not the Bocuse d'Or because we know all that stuff, but what's the wild?
There was one French, extremely wealthy businessman.
Okay.
Whose assistant called and said, it's his birthday, I want to create something really special. And Danielle said, we'll put him in the skybox. But the skybox was booked that night.
Sure.
And it was booked by Jerry Spire of Tishman Spire Real Estate. They own everything.
I think it's 93 million square feet of real estate in the world.
Right. So Danielle calls up Jerry and says, Jerry, I was going to put Monsieur so-and-so in the skybox for this special thing, but I can't because you're in it. Jerry said, I got you covered, and gave Danielle keys to the 64th floor of the Chrysler building, which is like an empty space. I mean, this is the level where the gargoyles are.
Right.
So it's not the very top, but there is
It's got the gargoyles.
It's got the gargoyles, and there is a low balcony so the whole room, the floor is empty and it's closed. It looks like a building site. Nobody can go up there because the balcony is not to code anymore. You could easily tumble off. But Jerry said, you can use that if you want. So Danielle catered a private dinner for Monsieur so-and-so on the balcony. And Mr. Spire even went so far as to shut off the floodlights right at the mouth of the gargoyles so that it wouldn't be too bright for
as one does,
the diners.
So
I'm helping
set that up.
Yes.
So you're there for a few years, and I know that you left and went to Goldbelly.
Yes. Well, I'll tell you. Sorry.
But what I want to say is, what made you want to leave, and what drew you to Goldbelly? What made you want to sort of get out more into the brand, sort of facing sort of world?
So after a few and a half years with Danielle as his assistant, I said, DB, I have to grow. Let me do other things.
I mean, you were there for a long time.
I was there for 7 years.
That's a long time.
Yes. I'm proud of that.
Yeah.
Not everybody makes it.
No.
And the last half of my tenure there, I handled all of those kind of bigger projects that I was doing as his assistant, and then added on a few other things as well. So, Danielle had relationships with Samsung, who had a line of culinary equipment that he was one of the consultants for. That took him to Korea a couple times a year, and I would manage his obligations with those types of partners. And I liked that. I liked the partnership building and the client-facing relationships, and I felt I had a decent knack for that. And I did a lot of travel with Danielle. We went to Lyon and shot Tony Bourdain's Parts Unknown episode there, which was an incredible experience.
It's an incredible episode.
Thank you. I remember showing up there and meeting the fixer. I didn't know what a fixer was at the time, and he introduced himself to me and he said, "Thanks for doing my job," because they had told Danielle okay, what stops should we make in Lyon? And he was like, "No, ça va, Maisie will handle it from my office." So anyway, I did a lot of those kind of projects for him, but I also worked on the e-commerce part of his business, which was new, through Épicerie Boulou, his retail cafe, eat-in, takeout place. They also were selling gift boxes online. And there was a huge market out there that we had just tapped into, and it was clear there was something going on in e-com at the time.
Especially for food.
Yes, yeah.
Especially for food that you couldn't get because you didn't live near there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then I found this company called Goldbelly.
Shout out.
Shout out to Goldbelly. Goldbelly they're still kind of in startup mode.
Yeah.
They are an online marketplace for perishable food.
That does curation.
Yes. So Goldbelly partners with food makers.
Russ and Daughters.
Magnolia
By the way,
Bakery.
the number one go-to gift if you want to say thank you,
for
Russ
you.
and Daughters.
Which gift?
It depends on the person.
Yeah.
You know, some people are a babka package. Some
Yes.
people are a smoked fish.
Yes.
You know, some people are
The caviar.
The caviar. I mean, I don't have enough money to thank someone with caviar, but yes.
I like the super heapster sandwich kit. That's fun.
It's great, especially for those who used to live on the East Coast and now live in a bagel desert.
It's funny because I had brought on the plane a super heapster sandwich kit for a friend in Oakland once. And now they ship it.
Yeah, it's great.
So
so you're at Danielle and you're doing e-com and you go to Goldbelly.
Yes.
And you're blown up, but this is also the same time that Palatine starts to creep into your mind.
Yeah.
And you can see it because you have the Italian France experience.
Yes.
You have the working for people who have special requests, let's just say.
A certain level
of clientele. And then you also have like the curation logistics, and it's all sort of coming together. And also you have now food as one of the biggest players in the pop culture behemoth.
You got it.
But how does the idea start?
So as soon as I left Danielle, basically, people were really curious
what you gonna do?
What I was up to. I think there was
Maisie Watch. 2017.
I did meet a lot of people working for DB, which was an incredible experience. I feel very lucky, and I liked knowing people and getting out there and seeing what other people were up to. And the food world is so friendly and nurturing. You know,
if you're respectful.
Yeah, well, of course.
Yes.
I mean.
No, but it goes.
I thought I might be a diplomat someday, so I come correct with respect.
In many ways, you are a diplomat, aren't you?
Thank you.
Yeah.
So people in food, they want you to have amazing experiences. They want to give you good things to eat and drink.
Yeah.
And I nurtured those friendships and connections and relationships. And so these people suddenly were coming to me and saying, hey, you're not with DB anymore. Can I hire you to do this? Or have you ever done that? Or what would you think about this? And so the idea was sort of planted, gosh, maybe I could do something on my own, start my own outfit. What would I do? It wasn't clear to me, but there were a lot of things bubbling up.
How did you feel about going to work for yourself, having not really been your own employee or an employee until this point in your career?
So I was extremely ready to be in charge of my own time. That has been a huge motivating factor for me. I used to get so annoyed having to sit at my desk for X hours a day when I could have been doing that, at home with my family on the day before Thanksgiving, let's say, or whatever. So I was interested in doing that, but otherwise, I think I was a little terrified.
Of course.
I always thought I would be the number 2 person.
But you're number 1 now.
That's just crazy to me.
So how did you launch?
So
because it's one thing to have the idea.
Yeah.
When did it coalesce, and how did you go about? What were the steps of launching this service, which is not because it's not a store.
No,
it's not. It's not a restaurant. There's no physical door opening. How do you announce to the world, I'm here? And did you want to have? Because I feel like you announced it, and then you were already having a project. So did you want to make sure that you had something to say? I'm announcing it, and this is what we're doing
Basically, I got the idea last summer. I was on vacation.
Give me that year.
In Italy. This was 2017.
I do all my best thinking in Italy as well.
2017, I had a rendezvous in Bologna where I had studied abroad.
As one does.
With a number of friends, American friends. We had all gathered for the wedding of a Sicilian friend of ours that we met while we were students in Bologna.
Okay.
This guy had come to school in Bologna, but he's getting married at home in Sicily. So we all, before the wedding, go to Bologna for a few days, reminiscing, reunion, and then we make our way down to Favignana for this wedding. And in Bologna, I set everybody up with a food tour. I was like, hey guys, do you want to go to Modena, meet an acciaio, go to the acciaia, let's see Parmigiano, where it's made. Everyone was game.
Yeah. I think I remember there's a shot of you in the cheese roast,
yes,
right?
Yes. It's like heaven there. I coordinated this through connections that I had, and we had this incredible experience. Now, I had been to the acciaia, which is where they make traditional balsamic vinegar, before a number of times, but my friends had never seen this. And so I had the incredibly pleasurable experience of watching people open their eyes wide when they were discovering this amazing artisanal product, this
Absolutely.
vinegar, which you don't understand unless you go there and you taste it and you hear how the story, you hear how the food is made, you see the barrels that are from the 1800s, and you taste a lot of different things. I mean, it's a really incredible experience.
That tasting is fun.
Yes,
There's some strong vinegars.
Yes, there are.
Some lip puckers.
Yeah. I mean, it's the consistency of honey.
Yeah. It's amazing. It gets to be like syrup.
Yes, exactly.
And so you get bitten by this bug of just sharing this curated knowledge with people.
Yeah.
Which I have to say I love too.
Yeah.
I go, oh, you're going to this city? I got a list for you.
Yes,
Here's a list, I
exactly.
got a list. But even better, you're like, I'm going to show you.
Yes. So that's where the idea, I mean, I literally was on the plane coming back to New York thinking how much I loved that experience.
Sure. It's amazing.
And I thought, oh, wait, this is what I love doing. Duh. You know, I had been kind of searching, what should I do next? Well, okay, I'll figure out how to monetize this.
And how's that? How do you go from I'll monetize it to actually monetizing it?
So I'm from Ann Arbor, Michigan. And in Ann Arbor, there's a company called Zingerman's, which is a well-known food business. They have
Jewish deli.
I kind of talk to New Yorkers about it and say it's a mashup of Russ and Daughters and Murray's.
Yeah, that'd be fair.
But they've expanded their business, and now they have a mail order that kills it every year.
Goldbelly offerings?
They don't partner with Goldbelly. That's a whole other story.
That's
another podcast.
That's for after the interview. But yes, they're an international brand.
Yes, and they also run food tours. And I knew that they were in the nascent stages of creating a standalone business, Zingerman's Food Tours, that would be looking for more content. So I talked to my friends there, and I said, why don't you let me build a France trip for you? You guys take people to Europe, but you don't go to France. And they didn't, because they didn't have strong connections there. But I lived in Paris. My best friend from the IHT turned out to be in food also. She runs a bakery and a cafe in Paris.
10 Bells, right?
Yeah, 10
Shout
Bells.
out.
Shout out to 10 Bells.
Legendary.
So good. So good. Yeah, I mean, it just happened. They said, great, let's do it.
That's great.
So I created an itinerary.
You created the itinerary, and how did you get the word out? How did you get people to come sign up?
So that was all Zingerman's.
Oh, okay.
They marketed it.
By the way, to know that you're going to get a hand-guided entryway into Paris from an expert who also speaks English, no problem. All down.
Great. Will you come on the next one?
I will come on the next one. We'll bring little Josephine.
Yes. Yeah. Well, that's the thing. So I worked with Zingerman's on this first one, which made it easy for me to launch because they handled a lot of the stuff, and I just essentially timed it right with Goldbelly, you know, and I still consult with Goldbelly and help them find incredible food making partners, but I'm also now able to do other things as well.
Right, because you're also doing casting.
Yes.
You did casting for Final Table.
Yes, I did.
Well, I won't say the winner yet because I don't want to ruin it, but shout out.
Shout out to Netflix Final
Table. To Netflix
Table.
and to Andrew.
Yes.
And then you also are working on other projects like TV and things like that.
Yes.
And real estate deals and things like that, which seems like all of the learnings you took from DB.
You got it. I took all of those little skills and threw them at the wall, and the target is Palatine. So
how do you decide who to work with? And then also, how do you make it not about yourself? Because I feel like in these types of companies, it's like the Maisie show. But the success
no,
is...
I don't want that to be the
but
case
the
here.
success is actually being a professional number 2.
Yeah, exactly. A bit stepping back so people can have their experience and that is the primary nut. I ascribe to the Tony Bourdain don't work with assholes rule.
Great rule.
So if you're my partner, that means I like you.
And you're not an asshole.
And you're not an asshole, exactly.
But what happens to the people you turn down? Now you're on the record. You're on the record.
No, a lot of it is timing, too. You know, what you have to...
Great dodge. Great
I
dodge.
told you I was thinking about being a diplomat.
Yes, perfect diplomat. The timing just doesn't work. It has nothing to do with your attitude in that meeting.
So far I've been lucky. I haven't had to say no to much. I am hungry. I'm building. So it's like, bring it on. What's out there? And also I'm kind of casting a wide net as I figure out where I'm focusing. I launched Palatine thinking I would focus on Italy and France because I know those cultures the best. But I've gotten requests for people to help in Maui, in Mexico, in Montreal. So I'm working all over the place right now.
Amazing. Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
It's great to see how every little tidbit can add up to something even bigger.
Yes.
So if people want more information on it, people want to book a trip, where can they go?
They can go to palatine.co.
Okay.
You can follow me on Instagram, Maisie Wilhelm.
It's a good Instagram feed.
Or at Palatine __.
Awesome. Well, thank you for making the time.
You're welcome. This has been a pleasure. I hope to meet your listeners.
Oh, man.
Out in the field.
It's my mom and like 2 other people, so that's technically listeners. Hi, Mom.
Hi, Mrs. Bresnitz.
We have a song from the archives and then a live performance here on Snacky Tunes on heritageradionetwork.org.
This episode is brought to you by MoFad, the Museum of Food and Drink. Featuring a variety of interactive displays, MoFad encourages eaters of all ages to be curious about food. The museum currently operates MoFad Lab, a 5,000 square foot experimental space in Williamsburg, Brooklyn, where Chow, making the Chinese American restaurant, is currently on show until the end of March 2019. This exhibition celebrates the birth and evolution of Chinese American restaurants, tracing their nearly 170-year history and sparking conversations about food culture, immigration, and what it means to be American. It highlights the evolution timeline of Chinese American restaurant menus, dating back to 1910, and also highlights a tasting section where participants get to enjoy tastings created by the country's most talented chefs who specialize in Chinese American cuisine. Make sure you check out Chow while you still can. The exhibition closes at the end of March 2019. Check out MoFad's tastings and extensive event calendar at mofad.org/events.
Are you enjoying this podcast? Heritage Radio Network has plenty more. My name is Jenna Liut, and I'm the host of Eating Matters here on HRN. Join me as I talk to food systems experts about the issues that shape our experiences of buying, cooking, and eating food. You can find Eating Matters wherever you listen to podcasts and on heritageradionetwork.org.
So in the studio today, we have... yeah, see that? Yeah, now you get my full gaze.
That's right.
In the studio today, we got She Keeps Bees.
Hello.
And obviously, the first question on the show today is where?
Where? I know. As soon as we get out of this apartment, then I'll have... We only have one window that looks directly into someone else's apartment, so half the time there's no real light coming in.
Wait a second. That was not the question. The question is, where do you keep the bees?
I know. Well, what? We will once we have an apartment.
Oh, okay.
I forgot that. I went right in the middle.
Yeah.
Ended.
This seems like a common question.
It is. I know, and because
just so you know how the interview process goes, if you were answering the question for somebody else previously, you can't just pick it up midway for us because we didn't get that first information. So just
got it. I learned it from my mom. It's usually that's how the story goes. It's always like she's like in the middle, and then he died.
Yeah. Oh, and then Mozart says to his pizza guy. So you two just got back from recording your new record.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
How was that?
It was insane. It was like a dream. We had purpose every day. It was awesome. we were in the middle of the woods and in a log cabin.
Where?
Yeah, in about 2 hours north of here, and it was surrounded by mountains and trees and stars and blue jays.
Blue jays.
Yeah, they're nasty little stinkers too. Apparently, they're really
good
mean.
looking.
Oh yeah,
not the friendly Disney kind.
Yeah, no,
not at all.
It's like they're always hurting other birds. Yeah, it was drama every morning.
Blue jays. So how was the inspiration?
We were Yeah, and amazing. Half the time it was just there's windows everywhere, so we'd try to start a song, and I just start staring off into space, and like, whoa, you sorry? What are you talking about to me? Always, always, always. It's just, what? You never say anything, you bastard. Just let her go, whatever.
Yeah, was she? Yeah.
No, it was amazing. It was a dream.
Was it writing and recording or just writing?
I had everything pretty much set up. There were only a couple times where I'm like, don't say horseshoe. What rhymes with? Oh God! Wandering around looking at wood. That sounds like a good idea.
Don't say
lyric.
horseshoe.
How many another horseshoe song?
No.
Fuck. Were you completely removed from civilization, or where is it like?
There was a diner like 5 minutes from the house.
Yeah, but we did lose power for about a day and a half, and we had to learn how to use the like old timey wood stove. And it was like, this is the test. And so we burned it down, and then we had find another shelter.
Did you do a lot of cooking? What were you cooking?
Yeah. It was always
A lot of stew.
Pizzas.
Oh yeah, we made a lot of pizza.
This man, we became grandma and grandpa. I started embroidering. He started making stock for no apparent reason. It was like we were making chicken stock all the time.
Just in case.
Going to sleep at 9:30 in the morning at the night, getting up at 7, being like, "Are the mountains still there? Oh, fantastic!"
that's what purpose will get you.
It was like a dream, really insane.
Now it's 4 o'clock. I have a glass of wine.
I think I will.
The sun's going down.
And I know, because as soon as because it was like camping, because it was just like floor to ceiling, 24-foot ceiling.
Whose place was this?
Well,
we found it on Craigslist.
I don't know how he did it. He's younger than me, so he's very savvy with the internet. Every time I do something on Google, it's always like, "You've reached this porn place," and he finds it and he's like, "I got a deal. We got this. We're ready to go. They're gonna give us a car for free." I'm like, "How are you
That's
doing?"
not true. They did
It's
not give
true.
us a car.
No, but we got them to get the price down.
That's
'Cause
nice.
This is like a luxury house. It's like
Negotiating.
Yeah, I always forget that like there really is all these woodsy forest fancy pants stuff right outside New York.
I know
that people never use.
And their keys are usually
nowhere
nowhere.
near the house.
In the house.
It's actually a trick question. The front doors are just always unlocked.
Exactly.
For every half an hour you get outside, it's like a decade back. You get 2 hours out, it's like the 1950s. No one locks their doors.
Yeah.
Only diners.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
One
It's
down.
so
Why don't
100
we have you play a song?
all right.
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll do that.
Yeah.
I like the. I mean, no one can see it because this is radio, but the.
Are you sure about that?
I'm pretty well. That guy can't.
I don't know if
but
I like
the bee themed shakers.
You have no idea.
They were
how-
a gift.
I'm trying not to be the bee lady, but it's happening. It's like, oh, another bee candle holder.
I mean, you
Oh,
kind
good.
of. What are you gonna do? You
I
kind
know.
of ask for
I'm
it.
gonna
got a
embrace
tattoo.
it totally.
Does anyone remember that episode from The Tick with that guy who had a pig for a foot and he got all these like pig presents and it was the exact same thing. It's like you get one pig
Yes,
present.
it is exactly like that.
I need to watch more of
They
that show.
collected pigs.
Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
great a bee dress. Actually, a bee dress would be pretty cool.
Yeah. When am I gonna have that? Yeah.
Hey, listeners.
All right.
Next She Keeps Bee shows. Bring the dress.
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's go.
Live on
Okay.
Snacky Tunes.
All right. Maybe I'm gonna do this so I don't weird myself out. I can hear myself. Okay, here we go. Don't follow me, honey. Not the road you want to be on. Yeah, the sky may seem sunny. I know I'll be the one you gotta lean on. You've got some time to spare and shine what you think you may want. See, you got the nerve, the nerve to be so kind. If find yourself in a rabbit hole, too dark for believing in lies, lies, lies. Girl, stand up and fight, stand up and fight, stand up and fight, fight, fight. Oh, the river you damn won't dry, and the feelings you have, it's alright. Just please, sister, please give it time. 'Cause not everybody walks straight line. Straight line, 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 line. Tie the ribbon round you, all you gonna feel is love, love. Tie the ribbon round you, all you gonna feel is love. Sing, tie the ribbon round you, all you gonna feel is love, 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 love. Tie the ribbon round you, all you're gonna feel is love. Yeah. Thanks, guys. Oh, God. I'm feeling a little like I got wearing double pants. I got 3 sweaters on. Sitting down in comfy chairs.
Oh yeah, it's
I was like, I can't get the wall. So I'm sorry.
It's winter today.
Yeah, and I got lovely pizza all over my face.
That was great.
Yeah, we really
What was that song called?
Ribbon. Yeah.
Yeah.
Ribbon Horseshoe.
Ribbon Horseshoe.
Ribbon Horseshoe.
The classic.
That classic She Keeps Bees Ribbon Horseshoe. Yeah, we do not set people up. We're like, come in, it's warm, and here's a bunch of pizza. Now, could you play a little something for us?
Here's some hot chocolate.
I'm like, oh,
Here's some hot chocolate and a blanket.
Yeah, you'll be getting a back rub, and there'll be some soothing music the entire time.
Yes, please.
So now you're back in New York.
Yes, and we're frightened by every noise.
Every noise, it's scary.
We're like, what the hell is that?
Oh, did you like lost your city sense?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's coming back, definitely, but we were kind of overzealous the first night that we came in. We got this Yukon, like, huge SUV.
Rental car to take everything back.
I've never been in a car that people were like, hey, check you out, you know, and then it was like, we looked like homeless children, so it was like, yeah, daddy just buy you that? Like, what? And so quickly just trying to be as aggressive as, I mean, clearly, if you're driving a bus, like, no problem, I'll just run you over. So we dropped that off in the city, and then we're like, let's go drinking.
Oh, yeah.
No problem. We just been going to bed at 9:30 every night. Sure, you know, and we lasted like 10 minutes. Like,
Yeah, that first night back in New York drinking is.
And then, but after moving back to
Yeah.
you're like, what is wrong with us?
It's either
almost
very
killed
long or
me.
very short. Almost
Yeah.
killed you?
Yeah. Moving
I
all
wanted
of
to
our
get
equipment back
done.
into the house.
I didn't realize that I'm like carrying a pillow
Yeah,
and a plant, and he's carrying like 7 speakers.
Why are you so tired?
Yeah. Hurry up. I'm like, just need a little.
I gotta get my plan together.
I started to tunnel.
I mean,
He's like, I'm just gonna lay here, and she's gonna feel so bad. When I go
I mean that
upstairs.
getting out of that New York rhythm. We get older as these things happen, and getting back into it just gets a little bit harder every time. Just like, did I really used to be out till? How did I do that?
2 hours of sleep? No, yeah.
I have to assume that people who were my bosses did what I did when I was younger, because they definitely had to give me some grace.
Yeah.
Because there's you come and you're like, yeah, I got this. No one knows that I was out. No one's gonna notice if I go take a nap in the bathroom for an hour, and the boss is just like, could you just not? If you could just not smell like what you did last
smell
night,
like a
that'd be-
brewery.
Yeah.
Showers are
So funny.
not
Yeah, I remember.
suggested.
Yeah, I remember hearing that phrase. "You smell like a brewery" when I was younger, and being like, "How could you get that drunk?" And then,
Yeah.
I've never heard that.
Lo and behold,
out of your
I've never heard that
pores?
phrase before.
really?
Yeah.
Not directed at you.
Yeah.
Personally.
Yeah.
So you're back in New York.
Yeah.
How long are you here before you're back on the road?
I guess for like the next couple months, we're going to be mixing and mastering and trying to get the album together by next March, and then we're just going to try to just do full push and go. Well, I guess we're going to probably go to Europe for a little bit, but then we're going to
Just
come
a
back.
jaunt.
Just
Quick jaunt.
Sometimes they feed us to them. This is like one of the. Actually, that's why we support this place all the time, because it's like they feed you, and you can tell that the food is made with love, and this place is amazing.
By the way, she's referencing Roberta's.
Roberta's,
You
yeah.
left again.
Just
gonna help you out here. I figured
know.
it out.
This is what this has to do
So
all the time.
when what's the food like for the mixing? Is it different than the recording food?
Yeah.
Are you taking the time to make stocks, or you're like, I'm just getting any Thai takeout that?
don't know, what were we eating, like tuna wraps the other
Oh
day?
yeah, we were like,
It's getting sad.
it
at
was
our
first.
house.
It was like a tuna wrap breakfast, and I was like, oh, do we have to do this for lunch too?
Cold tuna.
Dinner,
for
we're going
breakfast.
out. Dinner, we're going out.
Then we're going out to buy more tuna and more
Just
wrap
die
ingredients.
of mercury.
Yeah, you get in that studio tunnel and you're just like, first
Yeah.
menu,
Oh,
whatever.
Yeah.
Coffee.
Yeah,
Coffee.
coffee. I know, and now we've set up the studio just today, and like we were listening to it in this cathedral like setting, and now we're just like, what? This doesn't sound like crap.
I think it helps though.
Yeah.
Oh, smaller size. Yeah. All right, engineers.
Andrew WK actually wrote a long time ago when he did his first record, like, if it sounds good at 1, it'll sound good at 10.
Nice.
And that's how he mixes all of his records.
He's the party master.
He mixes them quiet.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've heard that before. It's a good idea.
Yeah, like, and a lot of, like, other producers, like, when we were starting out, the tips, they were like, everything will sound good when that bass is, like, kicking, but if it sounds all right when it's really quiet.
Speaking of listening to music, let's hear another song.
Okay.
That's a transition.
Right.
Boom.
Okay.
Gosh.
All right. Well,
What are you gonna do?
Okay, I'm frightened. But
This one's
I'm
about
gonna-
horseshoes.
The horseshoe popsicle song. Yes.
Is this a shaker or a tambourine?
I guess this is gonna be. I'm gonna attempt the brand new thing that's happening. Maybe I should just chill this. Okay. Okay, maybe I do.
Here, I'm gonna do
this.
here.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Gonna try and change him. Better know what you want. Remember how he's changed your mind before. Long as I have waited to knock the crust off you, swirling everything around me as if I make you my moon. Take him by the neck, throw him to the stars. I will take him by the neck, throw him to the stars. Take him by the neck, throw him to the stars. Great tambo over there. Man, we are killing it. So it's gonna be a lot fuller in the album, but that's something Andy
I didn't
didn't
practice that one
practice.
on
Yeah, I know,
tambourine.
and I kept telling you, are you gonna do the tambo jingly?
She wouldn't
And
let me
he's
bring
like,
my miniature drum set.
Well, because you didn't practice, man. I want to touch shit, dude.
Those are pretty interesting lyrics. What's your inspiration for?
And
Well, I'm not playing the next song.
that's right. You better just chill.
You
Eat
can-
some more pizza.
You can, yeah.
Yeah, I throw him under a bus.
We
I do it
Throws
all
me
the
under a
time.
bus
I'm
every
so
time.
We call
Like,
call
you
these
give me a tambourine and
house
expect me
meetings.
to make magic.
This is the She Keeps Bees house meeting.
Yeah.
Live on Snacky
Some
Tunes.
therapy. Some band
Just
therapy.
call in. Tell me where to keep the bees. Where the horseshoe song should be
Yeah.
placed.
Oh, the bees are in the horseshoe. Oh, spoiler alert.
Thank God we sorted this out. Oh, my nose. Excuse me. Okay.
So talk to us about the new album.
Okay.
It's been recorded. You're
Yeah.
mixing. Who's it coming out on?
We're putting it out ourselves here, and then we have a little label in the UK that's got us some European distribution. So it's just sort of going to come out in different countries, and hopefully we'll be able to tour. And then we would definitely want to do some touring of the States. Probably, hopefully in April, maybe. I'm like, any takers? Anyone want to hang out with us?
Anyone hang out with us?
Yeah, show us where to
So
eat.
do you just like hop in the car and just go?
Totally. I have a 92 Mazda that I've had since I was 16. It's almost classic car. We just got
What makes
a
it
new
classic?
door.
That's the one with seatbelts, right?
Yeah,
Oh.
and actually movable seatbelts.
Oh, I forgot about those.
Yeah, where you
Well, one
open the
of them's
door
broken.
and then one of them you have to kind of do yourself.
The motor is constantly trying to pull it back.
Actually, yeah, it's very confused. It's like,
You have one purpose in life, and you are failing seatbelts.
no, please just put me on.
What was your decision to put it out yourself here? Why that route?
I mean, I guess we're not really we're just not waiting around for like a label, and everything that we've been doing has sort of been sort of contracted out anyway. So I guess we were just like, what? I don't know. If somebody's interested, we want to talk. I don't know. But it's also you want to be a part of a family. Like you want to be supportive of that group, and so nothing's really, connected that way. But I mean, we've been our own label. We put out records every year since we met, 2006,
Yeah.
5. So I swear we haven't been not doing anything. We just gave you a 7-inch too. We have two
with your
two
grandmother
songs
on
with
it.
my grandma, and my grandpa took the picture.
Aw.
And I recreated his stamp. I found it on an old picture, and so I made that. And even though he was like such a stickler about cropping, it was always like no one is smiling in these pictures. It's always took forever. No one is happy. The dog is tired. Like
You're losing the sunset. You're losing the sunset. The sun is gone.
And what I've been doing is cropping the picture and putting him on record. So that's okay. That's okay.
Well,
He doesn't have to know.
We want to thank you for coming in.
That's it?
No.
We're gonna play one more song.
I know, but we're having a good time.
I know, we're having a great time.
Why are we
Thank you for
hanging
having
out?
us.
I know. We're so ppy to be here.
One more
It's a
question.
secret area.
What do you eat on the road? What's your tour dietary?
Tour?
We try to go to the grocery store as much as we can.
Tour? What?
On tour?
On tour? What do you eat on tour?
Oh, on tour? Yeah. Okay. What I say?
We
Yeah,
attempt
grocery shopping. Yeah.
to eat healthy things. Like
Yeah.
nuts
In the
and dried
beginning,
fruit
and then like at the end, you're like, "Oh,
That's-
give me the
gosh darn
fries,
Fries.
give me those fries."
It's like, I'm going to be eating alfalfa all tour.
No, it's like
Peanut butter and jelly.
raw
isn't that bad.
almonds. Okay,
Yeah.
well, I make a little snack pack.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Salted.
Is there salt on those cashews? Yeah, no,
Okay,
thank,
thank
you. By the end,
you.
it's
No,
like,
thank you.
let me get that double burger
I want
Yeah.
double burger. I want fries on the burger. I want cheese
Yeah.
on top of it.
and deep fried egg.
Yeah, thank you. All of it.
All of it.
I know. I don't
Deep
know
fry
what
the bun, too.
happens. Yeah. It's so funny.
I know.
They'll do that for
It's
you.
Yeah, but going to the grocery store definitely is smart, because sometimes you're like, let me get a water, and you're like, I could have gone to the grocery store. It's like $1, but sometimes, convenient.
Yeah.
Oh, well,
It's funny how it becomes less convenient.
it's amazing.
All right, and with that,
Anyway, so let's do the whole laundry list of if I want to find you online.
Oh, awesome. Yes. We're on FaceSpace. We're on MySpace.
My town.
My town.
What book?
Facebook. Yeah, Facebook. shekeepsbees.com, which
Needs a little help.
yeah, it's like we have Flash going on it. I don't know what. It's like the last people on Earth. that have
Don't try it
Flash.
on your iPhone.
No,
Oh,
just
yeah.
stop working. Just stop working. Yeah. And Bandcamp also, you can buy
Yeah.
all of our albums from
You can
us.
listen to everything we've ever recorded at our Bandcamp page, which is shekeepsbees.bandcamp.com.
Yeah, which everything we've recorded has been self-recorded.
self-released.
That's
Yeah,
awesome.
So
Yeah.
self-recorded, self-mixed,
Yeah.
self-put-out?
Yeah.
Yeah.
DIY.
Yeah.
And if I want to buy horseshoes, where can I go?
Horseshoes.
The horseshoe
Soon, She Keeps Bees classic horseshoe songs.
And if someone wanted to send you some bee paraphernalia, they could just...
Awesome. 950 Hart Street. Let's do it.
Okay. All right.
Now we know where to really find
Come
you.
on down.
And we never leave it locked. So.
yeah, the key is under the mat.
The keys in the plastic bee under the mat. All right, well, thank you so much. We've been
Thank you,
Finger on the
guys.
Pulse. I'm glad to see that Never Forget is back to the world of the living. You're going right back to the couch. I gotta go back to work.
I'm going to bed.
No.
Yeah.
I gotta go all the way across town. I'm going super west side.
Are you wearing double pants?
No, you know what? I it's like waist up. I'm always bundled, and then I'm like, I'll just wear jeans.
Yeah. No.
Like, why are my thighs cold? I'm sweating.
True.
My biceps are sweating.
No, I'm
My
like
biceps are sweating.
Oh,
God,
anyway,
a classic problem.
Yeah. So thank you to Whole Foods for being delicious and keeping us on air. Jack Inslee, Rec Tech, the whole Heritage family.
Awesome.
Roberta's for feeding us. Oh my God.
Best.
Pizza is the greatest hangover cure ever. And Greg and George, our food guests. I'm excited.
Yeah.
What a day.
What a day.
What a day.
Can't believe we did that in 1 hour.
Done.
I'm done for the day.
Yeah, you really earned it.
Bag it in.
Yeah, you really earned it. Yeah. Anyway, so last song, She Keeps Bees. What do we have?
An old song called Cold Eye.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
You want
All
any-
right.
You want any tambo on
Oh
this,
man,
or-
if you're feeling it.
I'll just lay back.
No man, go ahead. Oh, already you're done with your job too.
Yeah, look at these. This half of the room is yeah. All right, here we go. She Keeps Bees, live with Snacky Tunes. Thanks for listening. We'll be back next week. Yeah.
Don't you tell them what to do. Just sit yourself down and don't do these things to you. Sit yourself down, never between us. How you see right through that hard pride. That pride you got means everything to you. When I hit you on the knuckle, baby, look me dead in the eye. Watch you see it right through me too.
Tambo solo. You're so good.
Keep your pride. You find somebody else that will keep all your actions you're doing justified.
We're gonna destroy this room, right, Andy? Ready? Okay.
Leave him be, leave him be, leave him be, leave him be, leave him. Leave him be, leave him be,
Yeah.
We talk about food, we talk about music with musical dudes. Finger on the pulse, snacky tunes.
Thanks for listening to Heritage Radio Network, food radio supported by you. For our freshest content and to learn more about our 10-year anniversary celebration happening all year long, subscribe to our newsletter. Enter your email at the bottom of our website, heritageradionetwork.org. Connect with us on Instagram and Twitter at heritage_radio. You can also find us at facebook.com/Heritage Radio Network. Heritage Radio Network is a nonprofit organization driving conversations to make the world a better, fairer, more delicious place. And we couldn't do it without support from listeners like you. Want to be a part of the food world's most innovative community? Subscribe to the shows you like, tell your friends, and please join the HRN family by becoming a member. Just click on the beating heart at the top right-hand side of our homepage. Thanks for listening.